wanted to send some words of encouragement. Y'all stay focused, y'all keep working hard, believe in yourself, prove everybody that doubts y'all wrong, show up every day, stay pure, keep your heart pure, stay motivated, stay inspired, show love to your people. From Nip Hussle.
What's up, everybody? This is Hampton Blue, and thank you for visiting our channel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so we can chat on this video and other videos posted. And a special shout out to David B for helping me with the production of this video article. TMZ recently chatted with Suge Knight, former CEO of Death Row. They spoke with him about Nipsey Hussle and the tragedy of his death. Suge, of course, compared Nipsey to his former artist and friend Tupac. But something else Suge stated stood out to me. He said a lot of artists like Nipsey have the same problem that I had. We are too loyal to our neighborhood. He says even though you have enough money to move, you want to stay on the block because when you go around Hollywood, it's all watered down. Suge, who is currently serving his sentence in a California prison, added that he loved to go back to his hood to get chili cheese fries and strawberries and talk to my little homies. However, he says when you do that, you need those homies to help you survive. Knight's insinuation is clear. He is saying that Nipsey's loyalty to his hood is why he is perhaps dead, and in a controversial tone, is saying that was somehow perhaps Nipsey's choice, and those closest to him or his friends in that same hood should have better protected him. But here's the reality, at least when it comes to Nipsey in this specific situation. Many of his friends apparently did not know he was even headed to his store, including his security, who is normally with him, and some of the employees, particularly Herman Douglas, claims that Eric Holder, the guy who allegedly shot Nipsey, was from the neighborhood and did not appear to be a threat.
It's all hate and envy, that's all it was. It was jealousy, hate, and envy. Nipsey didn't deserve to die like that. Local guy, local enough that if he hit that parking lot, we put our guard down. You know, he's one of us, put our guard down, you know what I mean? Other than that, we wouldn't let anybody just up in our parking lot like that. We put our guard down because, like I said, he had just shook me and Nipsey's hand. Prior to that, he just shook our hand, just left, and he came right back and shot him. Like I said, it was jealousy.
So although Suge is putting it on Nipsey's friends to protect him, in this particular case, Herman claims there was no reason to put up their guard. Nip was also his own man and was well aware of his surroundings. He is known for years to be careful when traveling around as a celebrity, particularly in his own hood or any hood. He knew that there were always people who would be jealous of his success and even some haters.
It's a crab in a bucket mentality where, you know what I mean, everybody doing bad. So when one person starts to move forward and you know, become a little bit successful, but you still within reach of these people, it's very hard because, you know, you're dealing with pressures of trying to be successful, as well as the pressure of people intentionally waking up to try to bring harm your way. You know what I mean? And try to stop you from doing that. Because if I grew up on the same block you grew up on, and we had the same trials and tribulations, but you became successful and I became a failure, it made me feel a certain way about myself. Because we had the same, we were dealt the same deck of cards. You know what I mean? So I feel like my success affect the people closest to me the most. A person that don't know me might root for me, you know what I mean, and be happy for me. The person that know me and come from the same environment and had the same cards dealt to them, that keep going to jail, don't have no money, never made their parents proud or their mama proud, never did anything that they could look in the mirror and be proud of. You know what I mean? It make them feel a certain way, and it's intense. Shit manifests into jealousy, hate, violence. I had to cut a lot of people off. There's a lot of people mad at me right now. But, you know, I had to make a decision that I'd rather other people be mad at me than I'd be mad at myself.
The parking lot Nipsey owned was a parking lot he probably went to 1,000 times in his life, likely often by himself. He likely never imagined that the same parking lot would ever be a threat to him or the place where he would ultimately be killed, especially in broad daylight with fans hanging around. Nipsey's death appears to be a completely senseless act. We do not know all the facts yet, but the alleged shooter, Holder, may have been mentally ill or overtly jealous of Nipsey Hussle and his success. Many fans and celebrities seem to want to blame the hood for the actions of Eric Holder, and I believe that to be the wrong perspective.
To all the youngins that's up and coming that live in this inner city, let me tell you what this inner city is built on. It ain't love. Don't ever get that fucked up. It's hatred and it's worshiping. You know, in the inner city, we worship materialistic. All the shit that's shiny, we love that shit. So to all the youngins that's up and coming, if you get a chance to make it out, don't get confused and think these niggas is happy that you made it out. Because anytime a youngin make it out, guess what all the niggas around him do? They question God. Why did he make it out? Why was he the one? Why you didn't put them blessings on me? Because it wasn't in the cards for you. But to all the youngins, don't ever get confused like the hood love you. Oh, they love me now. No, they don't. They envious, they jealous, and they questioning God.
Jealousy and mental illness are human conditions. John Lennon of the Beatles was killed in his upscale New York neighborhood by a crazed fan who started reading a book over his body after he shot him. Versace, the singer Selena, Sharon Tate, Marvin Gaye were all murdered by obsessed fans or people close to them. That's the reality for celebrities in our world, where up to 10% of people have some type of mental, emotional, or physical problem. Bottom line, if you are a celebrity, you can be harmed regardless of where you are. So we simply can't blame the hood for the reckless actions of an individual. I don't believe that is how you honor Nipsey, a man who was about his people, and that is not how you honor the people who loved and supported him.
Well, I like that he came from the streets where I reside and actually became something. I mean, he was stronger than most of us. He beat the statistics.
Nipsey is the truth, man. The truth. I call him Thundercat because he a little mother out of sting. So now, he done flip it. He ain't stinging with his hands no more. He ain't stinging them in the streets no more like that. He's stinging them lyrically.
He ain't never changed, you know. He still come right here, he still pull up on the block, he's still the same person, you know what I'm saying? So success don't stop you from being who you are, even though you want to surround yourself around people that's doing the same thing as you. But what he did and what he does is he offer young homies like, you know, that's out here ways to, a path, the way to make it, doing the right thing, you know, without having to take a chance and get some money. So it's all up to you, you know, real recognize real.
I've seen somebody from the neighborhood grow. It also gives me a sense of encouragement and motivation. And he always compliments the young ladies that are doing stuff for themselves. And I fall in that category.
In my opinion, the only way Nipsey Hussle perhaps could have protected himself was to maybe become a bit obsessed with his security. As referees tell boxers, when you're in the ring, even though the bell rings to end a round, protect yourself at all times. Nipsey was in the ring fighting for his community, and unfortunately was not protected at that moment and is now dead. So this becomes a lesson to other celebrities and others from the hood or anywhere else. Continue to step into the ring and help your people in the community, but protect yourself at all times regardless of where you are because of your celebrity. Because the reality is, ish happens. As tragic as this is, we can't blame the hood for ish happening and then decide that once we become financially able or gain influence, we will not help our communities. That we will now abandon our communities because Nipsey Hussle was killed in his community. Again, it was likely jealousy, envy, hatred, or mental illness that killed Nipsey. Not his hood, where most of the people loved him. People get killed by jealousy and envy in Beverly Hills from people they know or don't know. But people still move to, set up businesses, and live in Beverly Hills. There are spouses who kill their mates out of crimes of passion, yet people still get married. We can't take the extreme tragedy of one circumstance and then broadly apply that extreme tragedy to our everyday lives and have it affect our decisions and ultimately our progress. Keep helping your communities. Keep building in your communities. Pay it forward, but maybe learn from Nipsey's tragic death to be extra careful regardless of where you are. If your celebrity has increased, then you should be aware that you could potentially be a target. So heed the boxing referee's warning but stay in the ring, because ultimately we must win this fight. However, none of this diminishes our pain or sense of loss. Psalm 30, verse 5 provides some solace. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Although Nipsey's death was a tragedy, the marathon continues. His mission continues. The darkness of his death gave birth to some light in his community. He may be physically dead, but his spirit lives on, and the lessons he left behind live on in our hearts and minds. Right after his death, the Crips and Bloods and other gangs united in Nipsey's name. Something that has not happened in decades. Nipsey's spirit and his light is sparking real, tangible change.
So we live in actually what Nipsey Hussle wanted us to do. He wanted us all to come together. So this is it, man. I've never seen nothing as beautiful as this, except for '92, and that didn't last. So this right here is beautiful, and I want to capture the momentum of it. In the name of peace for Nipsey Hussle, we can't go wrong. The 60s and 40s feud is over with. No more killing.
Yes.
And I help facilitate that. So with that being said, it's God's work.
Unforgettable.
It's unforgettable, and it's God's work, and it's all in the name of Nipsey Hussle. I wish he didn't have to die for us to do this, but we're not going to let his death just kill the community.
Just as the tragic deaths of President John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. brought the joy in the morning of the Civil Rights, Voting Rights, and Fair Housing Acts, which removed the yoke of Jim Crow from people of color, and as MLK predicted after the Civil Rights Bill passed, America would have a black president. So MLK's martyrdom was a precursor to President Barack Obama. Nipsey's joy will be a South Central with economic development, high academic achieving children who become college graduates, and successful entrepreneurs. And finally, an end to gang violence. As King said, we must learn to live together as brothers and sisters or perish as fools. And we should practice collectivism as Nipsey did. When Nipsey was alive, he always bigged up his team and gave them the credit for a lot of his success. Nipsey was not about ego. He knew making it to the top was a we game, not an I game. So with him gone, as the minister said during his funeral, the baton will be passed to his team members to continue Nipsey's marathon. Nipsey had great business partners. His brother Sam, who had a vision earlier on by actually bringing the idea of the clothing store marathon to Nipsey. And I'm sure he will continue to promote and expand their brand and store nationwide. David Gross, another one of Nipsey's business partners, who he works with Vector 90 and other real estate properties. Vector 90 is a co-working space for underprivileged business owners. Gross was someone who brought the idea of Vector 90 to Nipsey Hussle. And similar to Nipsey, he has a passion for helping the impoverished neighborhoods he grew up in. And Nipsey has stated in interviews about how Gross's brothers fell victim to the ills of the hood. One ended up in prison and one ended up dead. And Gross was the brother who made it out the hood and attended Ivy League schools and went to New York and worked for Wall Street. But despite making it out, Gross came back and gave back. Similar to Nipsey, he is showing courage by not being afraid of his people and not abandoning the entire hood because of a few knuckleheads. His other business partner, Idris Sandu, also has the same mission to continue what Nipsey started. He stated, "Nipsey gave me layouts, but for those he knew closely and believed in, he gave and trusted us with the blueprints. The blueprint are a form of batons to carry on the marathon." Idris is also from an impoverished area, and he, like Nipsey, has a passion to help the underprivileged. He states, "We both fully understood the power of the unconventional collaboration, the power of the minority to affect and influence the majority." It is so good to hear that Nipsey's team will grab the baton and continue his marathon. You too can take the baton and be inspired by Nipsey and head to the front lines to help your community as well, along with your team. Here are a few ideas. Nipsey Hussle read incessantly. He understood the principle that if you read, you will succeed. So education will be the anchor for all of the economic development and the end of gang violence. LA has a Read to a Child lunchtime reading program where mentors read to their assigned elementary school student once per week, resulting in 98% of those students improving in 1 of 10 academic success areas. 72% improve in all 10. Honor Nipsey with a Read to a Child program in elementary schools in South Central or wherever you are located. One of the most impactful education programs in the nation is a 26-year-old Tangelo Park program in Orlando, Florida, which is a full day, 50 weeks, pre-K, starting at 2 years old, through college graduation and career tech program. This program also has a college scholarship safety net program.
There's a neighborhood in Orlando called Tangelo Park, and 20 years ago, it was in need of some hospitality.
Drug infested. People are afraid to walk through the neighborhood. 20 years ago, I was ready to move out.
But Georgia Gordon didn't move out.
Triangles, good job.
Because Harris Rosen first decided to pay for daycare for parents in Tangelo Park, a community of about 3,000 people. Then, when the kids were older, he offered free tuition to state colleges. Gordon's daughter took advantage.
It's one thing to offer a scholarship to one person one time, but continuously for over 20 years to continue to provide this type of incentive for people to go to school, I think is absolutely wonderful.
The Tangelo Park program has resulted in a 65% reduction in crime in what used to be an open drug market neighborhood in Orlando, Florida. Property values have increased. Wraparound services such as job training, access to social services and health care for the adults in the students' lives, a community center with after-school and summer programs. Results: Tangelo Park students have a 77% college graduation rate, which is higher than the 69% graduation rate of Asian American students, producing PhDs rather than prisoners. This education model should be implemented and named in Nipsey Hussle's honor. It will literally transform South Central. With the celebrity and wealth in LA, there's more than enough money to fund Read to a Child and the Tangelo Park program model in schools in neighborhoods in South Central.
LA, the second biggest market in the country, behind New York. You know what I'm saying? This is Hollywood. Hollywood is the #1 export of the United States. Not no raw material, not no soybeans, not no oil, not no gold. Entertainment. Entertainment capital of the world is Hollywood, California. So there's no excuse. It's enough resources. It's enough money here, period. And I feel like it's being neglected. So I wanted to speak on that from an inside perspective. You know what I mean? From an honest perspective. And I feel like, that was what motivated the title, Bullets Ain't Got No Names.
Nipsey, like Martin Luther King Jr. before him, had the courage to help his community, despite the risk involved. Just as with MLK, we have to ensure that Nipsey's death is not in vain. We have to continue his mission of building a Black opulence and Black ownership in the Black communities. We have to buy back the blocks, keep Black culture vibrant, educate the children. And if ever in doubt or fearful about your mission to help your community, remember these words from Nipsey Hussle, as stated by his longtime love, Lauren London.
The game is gonna test you, never fold. Stay 10 toes down. It's not on you, it's in you. And what's in you, they can't take away. And he's in all of us. And until we meet again, the marathon continues.